What's up? We got The Fly, Season 1, Episode 17, Tricksters. So this episode starts off with Joe and Barry, with a fight. We started the episode 14 years ago where we start a fight between Barry and the Reverse Flash. But adult Barry gets young Barry out of there, as we know. But then, to get young Barry out of there. But then Reverse Gideon's like, Thawne, you don't have enough speed to get back home. And he's like, no, and reveals himself to be not Harrison Wells, but Matt Letcher himself. And this episode is based. So then we flashback to present day, where we see Joe and Barry looking over the case files of Dr. Wells, and he's like, we haven't found anything, but he's enigmatic. And he's like, Wells must realize that he must have made you the Flash for some reason. And he's like, since we know that Dr. Wells isn't a Reverse Flash, now that we know that Eobard Wells isn't the Reverse Flash, we know. I like calling him Eobard Wells now. I like it. Eobard Wells isn't the Reverse Flash. We know that he's that because the blood that they. So then we see Eddie talking to Iris talking to Eddie, and Eddie's like, they're trying to stop like the bombing. So the bombing case, but I'll speak about the bombing case. But she's like, hey, we look in the Mason Bridge for her, because obviously she doesn't know that he's dead, but so he's like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. So then we see some presents falling down, and a kid attempts to touch one. It lands on a bike, and boom, that bike explodes. So then we see like this present floating down, and Barry gets alerted. But then this kid is just walking to the bomb. Like I'm like, why is it always in shows where kids are always walking near bombs? Like, what is wrong with this? But Barry saves the kid, and before the kid dies. So then we learn that James Jesse is in jail serving the set. So we learn that there's a new trickster, because James Jesse is serving 7 years in Iron Heights, the same place where Barry's dad is. That will not come up later. Actually, that'll be a plot point later, but so they visit James Jesse, played by the one, the only, the legendary Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill plays James Jesse, and he is great throughout this entire episode. This episode is one of my favorite episodes because of Mark. Mark it's like Mark Hamill is channeling his Joker. Like, he just plays a great villain. It's like he's channeling his Joker. So they show him but they go to the place that he says, and it explodes, and he's like, he keeps telling the pretender to take off his mask, but it's later revealed that wait, why is it not working? So he starts telling the guy to take off his mask and start sobbing. So they notice that. So then we get into a flashback of Eobard. So we see normal looking Harrison Wells talking to his wife, Tess, about what they're going to name their laboratory. And he starts saying about Tess. And she said, why don't call it scientific technology artificial research lab. or Star Labs for short. That's how Star Labs came to be. So one night they're attacked by and he's like, his name is reverse. His name is Eobard Thawne, and and he says about how Tess is dying, and then Eobard's like, Tess has been dead for centuries. Same thing he would say to Cisco. So he starts saying about his name is Eobard Thawne, but it won't matter because in 2020, which is 2 years ago, which is 1 year ago, or 2 years ago, I think, he's like in 2020 they launched their particle accelerator. Tess and Harrison unleashed their particle accelerator, but he needs it to happen more earlier. So he puts a device on Harrison and starts transferring his face. It's gross. It starts transferring Eobard's face into Harrison Will, killing the actual Will and killing the actual Harrison. And Eobard Thawne has been using Harrison's face for years now. Boom. So boom. Mind blown. Yeah, that's shocking. That Eobard Will is really Eobard Thawne. We knew that, but the fact that he took the face of the original Harrison Wells, killed him, and now it's just been Harrison Wells for years. So Barry and Joe visit Mark Hamill again, and he starts telling, so they kidnap they kidnap his dad. They kidnap Barry. Barry's like, hey, they took a hostage, and he's like, a guard? And they're like, what, a guard? And he's like, no, your dad. So they're assuring him that they'll get his dad back, and he's like, oh. Yeah, so he's like, oh, so, yeah. So he's like, we'll get your dad back, Barry. And so Mark Hamill tells Axel that he's like, Axel, he's his father. A Darth Vader reference from Mark Hamill himself. So they decided to dress. So Iris randomly shows up at this event. Iris shows up at this event, and it's so weird. Like, Iris shows up at this event, and it's just like, come on. Iris shows up at this event, so it's revealed. It's revealed that James just the trickster. I like how he says the trickster. I do a very good trickster impression. I like Mark Hamill. So he's like, that thing that you've been champagne that you've been gulping, slurping down like a fruit punch. It's actually poison. So one guy dies, and so Barry goes over there. And he straps a device on him, and he's like, that movie Speed, Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock. Never seen it, but he's like, if you stop speeding, if you stop using your speed on 20 miles per hour, it will explode. And he's like, run, and Barry just runs. I love Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill is amazing. He's great. Mark Hamill is amazing. Go Mark. But also go Barry. So both start talking about phasing. Feeling the wind behind your face, and Barry starts thinking, So he speeds and he stops the bomb, and they arrest Trickster. So during this, Barry decides to reveal his secret identity to Eddie. Yes, to Eddie, and they reveal him everything about Will, about Barry's speed, about everything, and he is forced to lie to Iris about how Mason Bridge went to Brazil and met a girlfriend, and then went hiking up to the Amazon. So Iris buys this in full. So Barry reveals that he's like Dr. Wills is the Dr. When Earbar Wells was I call him Earbar Wells now. Earbar Wells was explaining how to phase. It felt like he was talking from experience. Dr. Will is the Reverse Flash. Boom, boom, end of the episode. Okay, so I enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed it. It was great. I loved Mark Hamill. I think Mark Hamill is the best thing about this episode. Mark Hamill is the best thing about this episode. And I love Mark Hamill. I love Mark Hamill. But anyway, that's it for this video. I'll see you next time for some more Mark Hamill. I mean The Flash. I'll see you next time for more of The Flash.